design using Unity. Okay, but uh, I want you to design using Blender because right, if you ask me, okay, last time when we started, we asked the student to use 3ds Max and then put it in Unity. This one, I want you to understand when you create at another tools, you can import it to or export it to another tools. This is what we want you to get, right? To practice, right? Okay, so you find the YouTube on how to create from Blender and then how to export it and import it to Unity, right? When you import it, you create what? You create on your own two static virtual object and one dynamic virtual object with Blender. Show the step in creating the virtual object, show the step in adding the static and dynamic virtual object to the unities. It kind of uh, we will refer to the rubric later, right? Just like that. Okay, and then this one for the animation, right? Okay, you find from Blender how to create animation, as of course 3D animation lah, right? And then you find YouTube to add animation to Unity, right? This is why you need to design in Blender and then uh, upload it or import it into Unity. So please create your own animation with Blender. Show step in the creating the animation, right? Show the step in adding the animation to the Unity, right? Level of details. Level of details. This is something uh, when we talk, right? When we describe, okay, the the many wireframe, the high level of detail you can get, right? The fewer wireframe, right? For this object, the fewer the low level of detail you can get, right? So you try to find YouTube, right, about level of detail in Unity, right, and then you show it, okay, how you can design, how you can do this lah, how you can do this, how you can design, right? You maybe you take a similar 3D object, right, similar 3D object such as you cannot take cube or other than that kind of because they are only limited surface, right? Maybe you can take spear, right? Spear because it is in rounded, right? To show it the rough edges of the spear, right? You can show the low detail, low right level, the low level of wireframe, and the smoothness of the shape of the spear to show the high level of detail. Right? There are many kind of other 3D object lah you can show, but for cube you cannot show as much of the level of detail that you can show, right? Okay. For collision detection, this is also I already share with you on Facebook, right? The YouTube, but that was for Blender, I believe, right? If I'm not mistaken lah, if not you are using you will shoot an example by using Blender to show the dynamic, right? Collision detection lah, when the object they collided together, what will happen? But that was from Blender Now, but this one you need to use Unity. Okay, this is the purpose lah why I give you that, and then this is the activity that you need to do for your group assignment. Okay. Right. And then virtual light. All right. So there are many kind of virtual light, right? Okay. You can design lah, you can put it here, put it there, right? So you show them this, and there is also coding lah, right? Coding in the YouTube for collision detection. Also there is also coding lah, coding because of the setting also you can do from the modifier or the interface in Unity by by selecting the proper uh, modifier to make them can be collided together, but you need to be aware of the coding here, right? And also for this one, virtual light also there's a coding, right? Just simple coding. If you can follow from the YouTube, yes, you may understand this, right? Okay. And then physical simulation, right? So you try to find HTC Connect, right? To connect HTC Vive, right? And then, right, this one without without having the hardware, right? Because it is very expensive. If you already bought it, you can show to your friend, right? Okay. But how can you publish, the word is publish lah, right? Okay, convert it, right, to become a HTC Vive by using this Unity, right? There are step by step lah for you to make sure that it can be used by HTC Vive. So like as an example, right, you can set the the software or the Android uh, the Android OS version. That one is for Android OS version, whether it is 9, 8 or 7, right? As the lowest requirement, right? This is something that you can set, right? So that it will be published and can be used for HTC Vive, right? So also the setting, like normal setting for Unity application, right? Usually for Android, you can choose whether you want it to be uh, compatible with Samsung, compatible with HTC, Vivo you don't have lah. iPhone, right? Okay, usually like that lah. So you need to find out how to set, right, for this publishing lah, onto the HTC Vive without having the device, but you just set up, right, the setup. Okay. All right. So, if you have extra elements in virtual environment, you can get 10 marks. We will visit this in the rubric. And for your documentation is also for 10 marks. If you count this, there are a lot more than 40 marks already, but it will be calculated lah. It will be calculated, right? So that it will be equivalent up to only 40%, right? Okay. Now let's look for the first instruction, the rubric. Okay. Can I make it side by side? Macam mana nak buat? Tengok. Tak boleh no. Okay, you can refer back lah, right? Okay. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. I will put numbers maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9. Okay, so there are 9 lah, 9 item. Okay, right? So here number 1, 1 virtual object. Right? So please be focused and attention to this. Number 2 and 3 for animation. Right? Number 4 level of details. 5 collision detection. 6 virtual light. Right? 7 physical simulation. 8 and 9 extra and documentation. Okay, so they are all 9. Okay, for this static virtual object, right, you can get, if you don't create any, you don't have here, but you are required to create 2, right? Okay, create two, so you can get 10 marks if you create two own virtual objects that can move with detailed explanation and user manual to add the virtual object to the Unity, right? Okay, so this is in the report. This is in the report. You need to screenshot lah. You need to screenshot. Okay, and then you can show it. If you just screenshot but it doesn't uh, appear to give the function like this, maybe you can get this one. Create own virtual object with detailed explanation. This one lah. Okay, but you need to have two, right? So when we call own, right, it need to be from not from the you can get from uh, this is from Blender kan. Blender you can add 3D object, right? 3D object, but you need to reshape lah, reshape to make sure that it is your own. It cannot be like the normal 3D shape such as the sphere, the cube, right? The cylinder, right? Okay, you need to have your own lah. For dynamic virtual object, here it says create own virtual object that can move with detailed explanation, right? Still the same. Static mean it doesn't move, but this one it can move lah. Okay. Add in virtual object in Unity. A complete step are listed with screen capture. Similar lah, screen capture, right? It can run by the student. Animation also, right? You can create own animation that can move with detailed explanation. And then I import it to the Unity. For level of detail, complete steps are listed out with screen capture. Okay, most of this you need to screen capture lah, right? Uh, I believe, right, they are in the YouTube, right? Because you need to find from YouTube, right? Maybe, but some of them are not based on Blender to Unity. Right? So you need to capture from your Blender and then import it into Unity because some of the video from YouTube they are from 3ds Max to Unity or from Blender to 3ds Max, right? So this is something you need to do on your own lah, right? So level of detail, collision detection, physical simulation, and extra element and documentation. Documentation means that the whole previous item number. This is number 9, right? Number 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is all inside this document, right? So complete documentation including figures and explanation with non-grammatical error, right? So that's all for the revisit on the group assignment, right? So you can get back with your group members, right? Like this, okay, and start discussing, okay, and wait for the instruction where you can have a formal class meeting, right, in your group. Okay, I will open the room. You need to be aware lah of what group you are and what room you should enter. Okay. Later, next week, next year, on the second, after we finish the uh, additional topic, right, additional note, right, you can go in. Right, I will give you around 30 minutes to 1 hour lah for you to discuss, right? If you already have discussed, right, but please wait until my instruction lah next week. Okay, alright. Okay, that's all for today, right? Uh, if you hmm, ini pun tak boleh masuk dah. Okay. sorry, I need to quit this first. Okay, that's all for today. If you have any question, like usual, you can ask me in the Telegram, right? And also, okay, you can also, if you have it right now, you can write in the chat, right? But there's nothing lah in the chat right now. Okay, if not, right, we end our class today here, and see you next year, right? Assalamualaikum and goodbye.